So Wednesday has been probably the best day of my life, and I know that this is said for pretty much everything. Like, as soon as you have a good day, you immediately say, "Oh my God, today was the best day of my life." But truly, Wednesday is going to be a day that is going to be really difficult to top off. So obviously, for those that don't know, I have been diagnosed with lymphoma, which is a type of cancer, and I have been getting chemo for the past couple months, I'd say now. And I've gone down the path of choosing a chemo that's really harsh. But that also means that on Wednesday, because this chemo was so harsh, I've done amazing progress. And on Wednesday, I have been told that the mass that I had shrunk down so much, but that's not the most important part for a doctor, at least. The doctor said to me that what they care about is not so much how much the mass has shrunk, but they care about its activity, and there is no more activity in my body. So yes, there is some mass left over, but it's theoretically dead. So it's inactive. So it's not growing. There's no more cancerous active cells going around out and about. But because of course there is mass left over, and this is what the procedure calls for, I still need to do some chemo. So Wednesday comes along. They tell me the big news, but of course it was still chemo day. So I go on about my day, and I get told that I need to do some assessments for my heart, because since starting chemo, I've been having some issues, just like my heart rate being all over the place, really. They tell me to lay down and relax for 30 minutes, because then after I relax, basically what I've been having is every time I stand up, I kind of get dizzy really quickly, but that's something that's always happened to me. But since being on chemo, it's happened a lot more and a lot worse. So I don't pass out, but my vision darkens for quite a few seconds. So they just wanted to double check what was going on. So they said, okay, we're gonna get you laying down for 30 minutes, and then we will get you to stand up, and we're going to measure your heart rate straight away so that we see if there's some drops, yada yada yada. So please do bear in mind, during these 30 minutes of me laying down, I was meant to relax, and I was meant to get my heart rate down. That is until this lovely lady comes in and gives me some amazing news. So she comes to me, she says, "Hi Steph, how are you? Yada yada yada. I just wanted to let you know that we have some visitors coming in." And I was like, "Oh, amazing, who's that?" And she says, "Well, I don't know if you know anything about football, but this team is coming in." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool, but unfortunately I don't really know much about football. But that's cool. I'm happy, I'm gonna meet them." And she's like, "Oh, okay. In that case, maybe you might know the other two people that are coming in. It's two actors. It's Tom Holland and Zendaya." Oh, what? Huh? I kid you not. I kid you not. I was laying down, and I say something that probably you shouldn't be saying when you're having chemo. Okay, I probably shouldn't have been saying something like this, but I was laying down. I go like this, and I say, "May I die on this bed right now if you are lying to me? Tom Holland and Zendaya are coming here." And she kind of laughs. I think she laughs because that's not something that a cancer patient should really be saying. Like, I should be threading, I think, really lightly with the word death. And she laughs and says, "Yeah, well, I haven't been saying anything for now, because of course there's actors and, well, celebrities, and their schedules change a lot, and sometimes they do cancel, but they have just called and they have confirmed that they're going to come here at 3:30. The plan of me resting in that bed, whew, out the window. My heart rate, I don't know what it reached. I have no clue. I didn't even want to ask, because all I knew is that my hands were shaking. There are probably, I'd say, I don't even know who my favorite actors are. I know that I have a soft spot for Kendall Jenner, but it's mostly for her beauty. I feel like and maybe it's an unpopular opinion, but she gives me really snobby vibes. I don't know. But out of all the celebrities they could have taken in, Tom Holland and Zendaya. Those are Zendaya especially, but even Tom Holland, who am I kidding? Like, up there. Up there. Like, I was like, I know I should have been happier because of my diagnosis and my, like, good news about my cancer treatment. But that kind of went down, like, to second, third, fifth position, I don't know. And I just got so, I was so over the moon. I was like, please, 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 if this is a dream, don't, nobody pinch me. Please let me at least meet them and then you can wake me up. And so I was, at this point, I was just waiting for 3:30. I was waiting. And my parents were next to me and they were seeing me so happy. So of course they were happy for me, but they didn't really know who they were. And I said, you guys are crazy. So basically I had to explain to them that Tom Holland, in this case, wait, let me move something real quick. That's much better. I had to explain to my parents that Tom Holland is Spider-Man from my generation. And at that point, they started to understand why I was so happy. And then, of course, I explained, well, Zendaya is also one of my favorite actresses. But like, she's gorgeous, but she is also the MJ. So it's basically the two people from Spider-Man. So they started to see the hype, and all of a sudden my dad was like, oh my God, I want to take a picture with him. Even though 5 minutes, my guy didn't know who he was. But that's besides the point. Fake fan. Anyway, 3:30 rolls along and I'm already in my chemo chair waiting for them. And no, at this point I've met the football team, amazing people. But I was waiting for my girl. I was waiting and waiting and waiting. And at this point, a nurse comes in and she says, yeah, apparently they're here to meet 2 kids downstairs. And now, bear in mind, this cancer unit is structured so that downstairs there's the kids and toddlers, and it's so sad to walk down that corridor for me. But downstairs is kids, upstairs is teenagers and young adults, which is where I am. So I don't know if that was just a rumor or if they were really there to see some kids, but I thought that maybe if they were there to see 2 kids in particular, like the nurse said, maybe they were end of life. Maybe it was from the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So I heard her say, like, yeah, like if they have time, they'll come up. But at the same time, I thought, I was really sad because I put my hopes up, but at the same time, I thought, why would that lady come to me and tell me something so big if then she potentially knew that they could not have time to come and see me? So I tried to maintain my positive outlook on the situation, but I felt really sad because I could see and I could tell that my dad was getting really excited to meet them as well at this point. But he was running on a tight schedule and he had to go and do something. So at one point he leaves. And I'm like, okay, this sucks. This is getting worse and worse. Until I see people crowding outside my room, which is like the chemo day room. And all of a sudden I see 2 people coming in. And I'm like, They come in. It just felt so surreal, and I felt so beyond lucky in a way. I mean, I'm not, I kept on telling my parents, I am super happy that I got to meet these people, but at the same time, would I go through cancer again just to see another celebrity? Probably not. So I'll take the W with the L. But I felt so grateful because those celebrities were coming to me, that I was sat in my chair and they were coming to me to talk to me. Whereas if you meet someone, a celebrity down the street, you're invading their privacy, and you might not be like, they might not have the time to talk to you, they might not be in the mood to talk to you. If you meet them on a red carpet, maybe they just might not have the time. You might just get a selfie in. And I got to have a full-blown conversation with the both of them, videos, pictures, because they took time out of their day to talk to us. I don't want to say talk to me because I wasn't the main person. Like they weren't there for me. They were there to see everybody. But I was just so shocked. So the way the room is, so this is the panoramic view of the room, right? Imagine my head as a square. So this is the door. Then there is a chair here, a chair here, a chair here, and a chair here. So there's 4 chairs all facing towards the middle of the room. So they come in and they go straight to the girl that was sitting here. Then there was a boy here, a girl here, and I was sitting here. So they started talking to her first. And at this point, I was just like talking to my mum, and I was like, I don't want to look like a fan. I don't want to look like I'm freaking out. I want to be calm. I was on my laptop just doing some work until I see Zendaya coming in, and she's like, hi. And I was like, oh my God. And it's insane because I'm straight, right? So if anything, I've had a crush on Tom Holland when Spider-Man came out, but seeing Zendaya face to face, she might have just been my bisexual awakening. And if not that, she is probably the only woman I would go bi for, because seeing her up close, oh my God, words cannot describe how pretty, like how naturally pretty she was. I was just staring at her and I could tell it didn't seem like she had that much makeup on. And if so, it was probably like very natural. Oh my God, she was so stunning. And the clothes that she was wearing, she looked so just sophisticated. Like, I just don't know how to put it into words. And I want to try and dig up as many details as possible from my brain, because it just truly feels like a fever dream. But we spoke, and she asked me some questions. She was like, oh yeah, how are you? And I was trying to like not make it about me, because I understand that for some people it might be difficult to speak to people that are ill or they're going through cancer or something like this. So I tried to make it as much as possible about her and them than me. So I asked, like, are you tired? I bet your day must have been like tiring. You guys have gone around. And she was like, well, kinda, yeah, but we thought to say hi and make people happy before Christmas. And I was like, oh, so sweet. And she said something that was so funny to me, because she was like, yeah, I'm wearing like this 2 tops, but like we've been walking around all day, and I hope I don't stink. And I was like, girl, I can guarantee you, I barely know and understand what words are coming out of my mouth. I probably gave you my credit card password and I don't even remember. I can guarantee you I cannot smell anything. All I can smell is the medicines in the room. Like, I've gone really like sensitive to those type of smells in the chemo room. It's very strong. So I was like, girl. And I tried to just like make it as funny and casual as possible. And I was saying like, girl, I'm sorry, I just need to say this. You're even sexier in person. And she kind of does a stance and she goes like, girl, you too. And I go like this. I'm like, oh girl, thank you. Like, kind of like you would flick your hair. I don't know why I did it. I wasn't wearing this. I wasn't wearing this. I wasn't wearing a wig. It was just like me flicking imaginary hair, because I was just rocking my bald hair. So I guess it was funny. But what else happened after? Then I asked her, I really wanted, again, as I said, to make this as about them as possible. And I didn't want them to ask me questions about me, just because, like, I've always been really, I put a lot of pride in myself with the way I've experienced this entire thing and how I've handled it. Like, since my diagnosis day, I've never given my diagnosis too much, like, I've taken it really lightly. As in, I've had a doctor come to my face and say, you have cancer. And I was like, okay, cool. I think that I just, in my head from day one, I knew I wasn't going to give myself a choice, but to make it. So yeah, I didn't want to have questions about me, because I knew I was going to be fine. And again, that day, of course, I knew I was going to be fine. So she did ask me one question. She's like, oh yeah, how are you? And I was like, oh, you know what? Like, this day couldn't have gone better. Like, I've met you guys now, but I also like got told that And I explained to her like my activity, like there's no more cancerous activity. So yes, I do have a mass, but it's dead. And she was like, she was so sweet. And then I asked like, oh yeah, can I ask you a question? And she's like, yeah, sure. And I explained to her that I'm a past cinematography, like film production student. And I think like that got her and Tom interest, because of course like their face was like, oh wow. So I explained like, yeah, I'm a film production student. Well, I used to be a film production student. I just wanted to ask what it's like to be on a set for like an actor of your caliber, because the sets I've been on in a film student thing, oh my god, shambles, real shambles. Like, is there so much waiting around? Is there so much is there like, are they as organized as my sets are? And she was like, she explained to me like, listen, some days I go in and call time is really early and I just sit in my trailer not doing anything, and then they tell me, okay, you're needed. Actually, no, you're not needed. Actually, yeah, you're needed. And I was like, wow, that really sounds like a student film. And she did admit, like, yeah, sometimes it can feel very hectic and all over the place and a bit unorganized. So it kind of put my heart a bit at ease to know that I didn't necessarily have that much of a bad experience in film sets. Maybe a normal film set, and by normal I mean of her caliber, would be a lot more organized, but to know that maybe mine wasn't so different kind of put my heart at ease. And I explained to her that because I said I didn't really have a good experience with film school, because I since college I've been doing this sort of thing, and they always put me in the position of director. So because people like the way I talk to people and the way I deal with people, I've never been really given a chance. People are always like, yep, Steph is the director. But I ended up majoring in editing. And she asked me like, what is it about being a director you don't like? And I was like, well, I've had people sleep on my set, and I didn't really like, I hate to be a boss, and the fact that everyone comes to me to ask questions, sometimes I just want to like focus on the shot. And she says like, okay, I understand, but like being an editor is so cool because you have so much power over the film. You could have some amazing shots and you could really turn them into a bad movie if you don't know what you're doing. And likewise, you could have some really bad shots, but you could turn them into an amazing movie if you know what you're doing. And at this point, Tom comes in and he says the exact same thing. So Zendaya introduces me to him and she's like, oh, we were just talking about films. She did this face and I thought it was so cute, like the way they were talking. He's like, oh, cool. And she says, oh yeah, she's an editor. And I was like, oh, that's Zendaya calling me an editor? Stop. And that really seems to get his attention because he goes, oh my God, really? And basically at this point what happened is that Tom was talking to the girl that was here and Zendaya was talking to me, so they kind of like swap round. So she goes off and talks to the girl, and Tom fully takes a chair and sits in front of me, which he didn't do for anyone else. So clearly I either must have, I don't know, he really wasn't into editing, or I don't know, but I'm just really grateful that we got to have a longer conversation. He sat down in front of me. He basically said the exact same thing that Zendaya said. He was like, oh my God, yeah, editing is so powerful. Like, you can have some really bad shots and turn them into something good. And she goes, I literally said the same thing. I literally said... So he sits down and what do we talk about? He tells me like, yeah, like being an editor is amazing. And he asked me, what is your favorite movie in terms of editing? And at that point I just hear a ticking sound in my head. I'm like, oh my God, like it's already bad enough that I'm talking to you right now and I have to focus on the shit that's coming out of my mouth because bitch, I'm Italian. So not only am I slightly translating what I'm saying as I go along, but now I also have to think of a good answer. So I was like, okay, if I say anything where you're in it, I sound like a fan. If I say anything mainstream like The Avengers, I sound dumb. So I had to really dig deep in my film production brain and think of all the, maybe like less heard of movies. And I just went with one of my favorites. And I said A Beautiful Mind. And he really, I think he must have liked that answer, because he went, that's a beautiful movie. The editing in that is amazing. I think he said something like, our friend, pointing to Zendaya, wrote that, and I was like, really, that's amazing. And he's like, yeah, like, if you like this movie, like the editing of this, you would probably like, and he said a movie, and I said, like, oh my god, okay, let me put it on my phone, let me put it on my letterbox, and I never did, because I panicked. So I don't know what, Tom Holland recommended me a movie to watch, and I completely fucking forgot, and I tried on the way home to find it. It was something like, he said, everything sounded muffled in my head. He said it's a Tony Stark movie, but I swear Tony Stark is the guy from Marvel. And I was like, what? And so he said something like a man flame. I don't know. It's like, oh yeah, cool. And then I said, like, another movie that I really like the editing of, but I found really confusing, was Tenet. And he said, yeah, amazing movie, amazing editing, really confusing. A friend of ours, pointing to Zendaya again, is actually one of the choreographers that came up with some battles that would work well forward in time and backward in time. And I was like, that's sick. And like, he was just like really keen to talk about films and editing, and it was like amazing. Truly, truly amazing. And at this point, I think Zendaya was done. I could see in the corner of my eye that people were taking pictures of me and him, like sat down in front of each other talking. And I never asked for them, which is really stupid. I would love to have those pictures. But regardless of that, I trained my mother on how to take pictures and videos at the same time. So I gave her my phone, she took videos, and at the same time she was taking pictures. So at this point, Zendaya comes back, so I take the opportunity to take some pictures. And so basically, I felt really sad that my dad couldn't get to meet them. So I'm gonna show you guys all the footage that I took now. But basically, we take the video of us basically just posing, and my mum was taking selfies, pictures in the oh my god, she was taking pictures at the same time. So I say, oh my god, thank you guys so much. Can I ask you a massive favor? So my dad was here, but he just missed you guys. And he wanted to take a picture with you. And I turned to Tom and I say, he wanted to take a picture with you on the chair. So my dad wanted to do this. I guess he wanted to sit on the chair like this and go like this. And I explained that to him, and I said, but he left because he had to do something. So is it okay if I take a video of you guys saying hi to him? And he goes, yeah, of course. So roll the footage of that, and then I'll continue.
Okay. Did I want your gun?
Sorry, okay, we had to take. Thank you. Can I ask you a massive favor? My dad was here. He wanted to take a picture on the chair with you like this. Can I take a video of you saying hi? Oh, the both of you? Yeah. So at this point, I take this video, which I think I will cherish forever, which is me saying, hi, Dad, I'm the best daughter in the world. Look who I have here. And I turn around and I show that Tom and Zendaya behind me. And they go, hi, Dad. Well, Tom goes, hi, Dad, which I think was so sweet. And I turn to them and I say, oh, his name is Johnny. And they go, hi, Johnny. And you can tell the difference in the accent. Like, Tom sounds really, really British. And I think Zendaya is American. I love the way they say Johnny against Johnny, more with an A. And they go, sorry we missed you. You have a beautiful daughter. She's awesome. And I was like, oh my god, guys, stop it. I'm panicking. Oh my god. But I'll show you the video now as well. Hi, Dad. I'm the best daughter in town. So I have Spider-Man here and MJ.
Hello, Dad.
His name is Johnny.
Hello,
Hi,
Johnny. Nice to meet you.
Sorry we missed you.
You have a beautiful daughter.
She's awesome.
Thank you so much. And at that point, everything is a bit of a blur. I was really like just over the moon. I think they left at that point. They said bye to everybody and I was like, oh, bye. And as soon as that was over, me and the girl, like across each other, they leave the room and we just go. And then she says from across the room, did that just fucking happen? did Zendaya just compliment my scarf? And I was like, bitch, did she just call me awesome? Did Tom just call me beautiful? And also I was really panicking because we took this picture and you can see that, first of all, I absolutely love, like, I've seen some pictures of Tom and Zendaya taking pictures with someone else and they were kind of like a bit more stiff. But I think I maybe made them feel, because us Italians, we're really warm people. I pride myself, I think, and I'm someone that's easy to talk to. And I felt this, like, she was leaning into me. I thought it was really cute. But what happened is that everyone was kind of like linking arms between, like, you know. So Zendaya was in the middle and she was kind of like hugging the both of us. But I also did the same. So between Zendaya, like behind Zendaya's arm, back, there was Tom's hand. And I kind of panicked and I touched his hand, but I didn't move it. So I'm hoping that they didn't argue about that. I mean, I doubt they would fucking care about a bitch with cancer touching his hand. But yeah, 10 out of 10. I hugged Zendaya and I touched Tom's hand. I don't know. But honestly, truly, my mum made a joke about how I was telling her, like, oh my God, yeah, I had a crush on Tom a while back. And she was like, Zendaya, if she really is a girlfriend still, we have a saying in Italian it's basically translates to, she's gonna stuff her shoes in your ass. But oh my God, seeing Zendaya face to face, I think I was crushing harder on her than him. Oh my God, what a beauty she is up close. And they're both so easy to talk to. And I was so scared because people say, like, never meet your heroes, but they were so down to earth. And had I not known that they were famous, I think Zendaya is like just a normal person. Like, not that she didn't have that out of reach feeling that, I don't know, maybe someone like Kendall Jenner might have, or like those high tier celebrities. Like, she is a high tier celebrity, but you know what I mean? Like those modelly kind of people. She just, I felt like there was not a bone in her body that felt like I'm superior to you. I was just talking to a friend. Like, even her body language, like, I'm one that's really big on body language, and she just felt so at ease talking to all of us in that room. And Tom, again, same thing. I'm sorry that I'm just going over and over about Zendaya, but I just I don't know, she's an absolute crush. But Tom was so easy to talk to, and like in the videos, like I keep on watching them back because sometimes it feels like it's a fever dream what happened to me. But it was so sweet that as soon as I said, like, can we take a video of you like saying hi to my dad, he just smiled and says, yes, of course we can. And I just thought that was the absolute sweetest thing. Like, I am truly, truly grateful. And you might say, like, okay, the day ended there. Happy days, congrats. No, I went for pizza afterwards with my parents. And bear in mind, because of my type of cancer, it affects my immune system. So lymphoma is a cancer that, again, yes, affects your immune system. It brings it to the ground, and chemotherapy doubles down on that. So realistically, you sneeze on me, I'm game over. You could easily send me in a coma. I'm joking. But if you do sneeze on me, if you stand too close and you're a bit sick, I will most likely end up getting hospitalized, which has happened already twice, by staying at home. So since my diagnosis and since starting chemo on the 1st of November, I have rarely gone out, just to purely, like, I don't want to delay my treatment, because if I'm not well for my chemo week, then they have to delay it, and delaying it just means staying more indoors. But I've been home since, again, the 1st of November. I've probably gone out for a couple minutes, once or twice, and despite that, I still managed to get hospitalized twice from a mouth ulcer that kind of just grew to the size of a planet, and they had to give me morphine and antibiotics in vain and yada yada yada. And then the second time I caught a cold, which would have taken my usual immune system like a couple days to recover, and it took me 2 weeks. Oh my God. But yeah, like, we decided to go fully out, and we actually went out for dinner to a restaurant. I'm kind of sad because I feel like I'm scared to be out, so I was a bit conscious of how many people were in the restaurant. I was trying to like, I don't know, just not breathe, but I was trying to steer away from everybody. And even today I went out and it's the same thing, but that's something that's gonna go away with time. But yeah, we went to a restaurant with to a nice pizzeria, which is our like go-to place because it's Italian food and everyone there is Italian, so we know that that's the closest we're gonna get to Italian pizza and Italian food. I asked for dessert. Happy days. And then we went home and I just rewatched back all the videos and pictures because I thought that I just lived a fever dream and it didn't feel real. And I was truly exhausted because, again, my immune system and chemo take it so out of me that doing the minimum amount of effort just kills me. So having good news, having chemo, meeting my two probably most absolutely favorite actors on the planet, going out for a restaurant, I was KO. I think I touched the bed and I poof went. But yeah, it's gonna be a hard day to top off, I think. Probably, most likely the best day of my life. And yeah, we're almost done with the journey. Second best day of my life will probably be when I will ring the bell at the hospital which says that I'm cancer free. But we'll get there. Until then, thank you so much, Tom, Zendaya, for absolutely making my day. Tom, I'm sorry, I do not remember the movie you said. Allow me. I think I was having a stroke. I was trying to look cool in front of you guys. I do not remember a single word I said to you. I might have given you my postcode and I don't know. At this point, I was just panicking. At one point, my voice cracked talking to them and I just went, but yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. If you liked it, good, great, smashing, and I'll see you next week or in the next video. Bye.